Do you remember middle school? That awkward time, the braces, the acne, and everything is so embarrassing. And then there's that one day that your parents come to your room to talk, and it's the talk. Oh, talking about sex is shocking for parents and kids, but it turns out talking about money is just as shocking. Nearly a third of parents would rather talk birds and bees than dollars and cents. Talking about our own money situation, it's a lot like getting naked. We're exposed and it's embarrassing, and we don't know if we're doing it right. But no one abstains from money. So let's talk about how to use it. As the mother of 4 children and the CEO of a wealth management firm, I have a lot of conversations about sex and money. And as parents, we have a really difficult job. We live in a world that constantly bombards us and our kids with all of the amazing, wonderful, must-have things that will change your life. But do they really? We judge success by the amount and type of things you have. Even my 5-year-old knows you're not really a YouTube star until you have your first Lambo. Now, where has that gotten us? Nearly 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 46% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency expense. We've got to change what we are doing. When my teenagers were young, I made 3 jars for them, one for saving, one for spending, and one for charity. When they got allowance money or birthday money, they had to put something in the jar. Making these concepts physical, it forces us to pause and to think about what we're doing. And it creates great conversation points because they will ask you, why do I have to give to charity? And you'll talk about why it's an important value to your family. Then model this behavior in your family. Create buckets for your family needs. The emergency fund, the vacation fund, the college fund. And explain that you keep these funds separate so you aren't tempted to cheat on one by borrowing from another. You can't take college money to go on vacation. We must build discipline around finances. You can't just have whatever you want. We all have a relationship with money, good or bad. And we model this behavior by our actions. So if we're living paycheck to paycheck, our money strategy is something like guessing, hoping, and praying. And while that may be consistent, it's not the most reliable strategy. So how do we improve things? To be successful with money, you must live within your means. This is no secret. It's like a marriage or a relationship. You have to commit to that lifestyle. Probably means saying no to some things you want so you can say yes to the things you need. True confession. A few years ago, I realized a behavior pattern that I had created. When I was stressed or bored, and I was often one or the other, I would walk to a little store near my office. I would buy something, and I would tell myself what I was buying wasn't really expensive. And well, frankly, I deserved it. When I realized what I was doing, I cringed at the amount of money I had spent stress shopping. I was sabotaging my own money situation. I began to ask myself that day, in other situations, was I buying out of need or to relieve stress? Now, if I could just stop stress eating. But trying to raise kids in an environment where everything is at their fingertips is a real struggle. Mom, just buy it. But I need it. And my favorite, Amazon will deliver it. You don't even have to do anything. My counter tactic for that is to have my kids write down what they want with the price next to it. We create a list, every ask, every time. At the end of the month, we'll review the list if they ask about it. But what I've often found is out of sight, out of mind. There is no doubt we live in a world of immediate gratification. But for money to work for you, you must have time. Interest compounds over time. Investing works over long periods of time. It's a coin flip if the stock market is up or down in 1 year. But over 10, 20, 30 years, the odds are incredibly high the market will be up significantly. So we have to train our brains to think long-term when dealing with money. Small sacrifices now, saying no, will yield major dividends later. The key to getting ahead is to start while you're young. That's why having ongoing conversations with kids about dollars and cents is so critical. Sex education is taught as early as elementary school, but we don't teach personal finance at all. A world where money works for you, not against you, changes the idea of what a young person can accomplish in life. And let's face it, we're not all going to be YouTube stars. With education around finances and a plan for living within their means, our children can choose a purpose-driven life that fulfills their passions. And what a beautiful world when you love what you're doing and it's financially working for you. Our children are watching, so let's get naked. Start having dollars and cents conversations, not just birds and bees.